My wrists ached and throbbed, chained to a bar in the center of the boat. I peered to the prisoner on my left, defeat and fear in his eyes. A scar stretched across his face, twisted under his chin, and disappeared into his shirt. His eyes looked back into mine as he whispered the words, "I think we're here." I turned and looked out of the porthole, the side of a rocky island now in view. A guard took out his whip. A sharp whistling sound echoed through the air before I was struck. I yelp in pain as the ship rocks, shifting before finally settling in the sandy shore. They put sacks over our heads and threw us off the boat. I roll in the sand as I struggle to rid my face of the sack. A guard held a rifle, shooting a prisoner who tried to get back onto the boat. His body flopped down into the water. The guards screamed for us to stay back as his blood dispersed. A cloud of red coated the sea foam. Another prisoner was crying and begging to just be shot. He started climbing the other side of the ship, desperate not to be left here. The captain stepped over the side and stomped his face until he fell back. A terrifying screeching sound echoed from the sharp mountains in the center of the island. I started running in my shackled restraints, finding cover under one of the nearby tree lines. The guards scrambled as they took aim at something in the air. Multiple shots rang out as the muzzle flashed and illuminated the foggy sky. A flying shadow pierced the blanket of smoke, quickly snatching a guard and flying off with him. The remaining crew members stumbled inside, and after only seconds, the boat sped away. My heart began racing as I wondered where we'd been sent to, and what had killed the guard. 2 other prisoners joined me under the tree line. The others disappeared, running deep into the fog. The man with the long scar I'd seen on the boat ran back from the other direction, his head on swivel, looking into the air. He stumbled back and fell into the sand as a winged beast landed right in front of him. The ground shook as the creature slammed into the beach. It had long, creeping claws, a sharp, pointed beak, and glowing orange eyes. I felt the other prisoners shaking as we watched the monster step forward, the scarred man now scooting back, but the creature didn't spare him. It leapt onto his chest, ripping out his insides, his screams muffled by the screeching noises the monster was making. After what seemed like an eternity, the man finally stopped screaming. The flying demon bent down and began pecking at the man's organs. It took a massive bite and slurped down the intestines, its head rising to the sky as it gulped. Another one of the creatures landed next to it and began eating as well. I'd all but forgotten about the other prisoners I was with. One of them took off running, darting into the forest. Both of the creature's heads snapped around, now looking straight at me. The other prisoner screamed and darted right behind him. I jumped up, sprinting up the side of the mountain, weaving in between trees. I dove over a small embankment, spotting one of the prisoners clutching his leg, hobbling from a recent fall. I looked over my shoulder, a creature now thrashing his body against a boulder, the other still running towards me in the distance. I maneuvered through a thicker part of the forest and found a small cave. I knelt around the corner of the entrance, watching as the creature continued past, up into the mountains. As the day turned to night, I gazed out of the cave, watching the glow of the moon. A faint scream heard in the distance, my stomach now growling. I wondered how long I could survive on this island.